Welcome back for the final game of the evening, which has FlyQuest Academy loading onto the Rift opposite Dignitas Academy. Crumbs, you have once again been the man to marathon the day. We've had, honestly, a very fun spread of games today.
It really has been pastry, especially because of FLYA. This is 10.12, so a little bit of tweaks into the meta, whether it's the Senna edition, whether it's slight changes to the map, or even Trundle nerfs, which are completely unnoticeable, but we get to see players really punish away at Trundle, like we saw Xmithy with his Nidalee with a complete Flame Horizon. I think 4 levels up on Winston. Just a disgusting Nidalee showing from him.
Yep, a dominating game. But our final game of today is FlyQuest Academy versus Dignitas Academy. And for Fly, it seems like they look a lot more focused. They have good drafts, solid shot calling. And Big is kind of the guy that's, new stepping into this team. Certainly not new to the team, new to competitive at all. But he kind of feels like the missing piece because nothing else changed for FlyQuest Academy. And they had an extremely roller coastery split in spring.
Yeah, so Big was, we know he's a vocal shot caller. That was what he was doing in Optic last year, but he couldn't find a team in the beginning of spring this year. So he didn't play for a whole split and then gets brought back into the FlyQuest lineup. And suddenly the team feels very cohesive, especially with the drafts, right? They're playing very simple to execute, just get in there and fight. And well, that's what ends up happening when you have your shot caller playing the Nautilus. It's very easy to follow him up. So I think FlyQuest is on a good trajectory right now. It feels like they're on the same path that CLG is on, but a little bit further along. And so if they can shore up those engages, especially when it comes to chaining that crowd control, the same thing we hammered away for CLG, this could be a fairly formidable team.
Yeah, I mean, they're actually on the best path of all the Academy teams right now. They're the only undefeated team left after 1 week of play. So potentially could be 3-0 here and maintain that crown there, at least for a while. On the Dig side, though, despite being 0-2, I don't think they looked terrible. I just think it's like a matter of moving the pieces back around and kind of finding a little bit of coordination, because there are quite a lot of changes for this team, with Dada coming in, with JJ coming in. JJ will at least get a little bit of a revenge match against his old organization in FlyQuest, but this is not the Dignitas Academy of spring that was just full of, basically LCS caliber players that we thought was going to run over the entire league. They were in the position FlyQuest are in this time last split, where they were looking like they were going to go undefeated for almost the whole season. Obviously, the story didn't work out that way for Dignitas Academy, but a very different look so far for a team that I think is just trying to figure things out in the early weeks of the split. Certainly, it's not a write-off yet by any means.
They almost beat Golden Guardians. They had an Ezreal Yuumi that really got close. So that felt like it could have been a game that they win. And then in their matchup against, I believe it was TSM, they had a Dragon Soul, and they were unable to close it out. So the games have been very close for them. So the record, I think, is the best 0-2 that we have so far. And moving forward, I think part of the reason why they struggled was how do you then reincorporate Phoenix into the mid lane lineup? We've seen what happens when you incorporate Key or a marksman back into the bottom lane. Very straightforward, just pick him a marksman. Whereas Phoenix did take that game on the Karma mid, which might have needed to be something with a little bit more power, a little bit more oomph. That's what we saw in his second game in the Azir, and despite it being a loss, I think it was a much better showing in the direction that I want to see Dig going towards. Now, Karma is available, so they can go for that same shenanigans again, especially if they want to go with what Golden Guardians showed us earlier today, which was the Karma Kindred combination, but that proved to be somewhat ineffective in the later stages in the game. Instead, it's going to be Karma FLYA.
Okay, I like this. A cool start to this draft. The bans real quick. Kalista Ezreal Graves, Ophelio Syndra Varus. Now that we're done there, it is indeed FLYA Karma as a response to first pick set, which is not a surprise for someone like Revenge. Set is basically the go-to top laner for every top laner. But I do like the Volibears being thrown in here. Maybe a champion that we should be looking to bump up in priority for the top laners, depending on results. I also like this a lot. Stealing the center away, going to give it to Mash here. See what Big has ready to go beside it, because you do want something that can pick up more farm. But certainly, again, like Senna received, a buff, but I didn't think like an overwhelming one. And it really didn't take much for teams to be like, yes, Senna back in the lineup.
Oh, you could just give the Nautilus a bunch of farm too, so this works as well. A farm Nautilus is very scary. You could go AP, you could go whatever.
Yeah.
But I want to point out something that's a little bit off topic, but I actually find fairly
I'm ready
funny.
for you, Crumbs.
It looks like with Phoenix's hair that Asta is growing out of him.
Yeah.
Oh,
right,
it's
great.
a quarantine hair, man.
Now we can't unsee
You don't get
that.
to see it often.
Oh, I got a haircut for the first time in a long time, and it feels great. So, glad that haircuts are becoming more available here in LA. MF, though, the pick here for Asta, so gonna keep it nice and simple. I have to assume that it is Karma support there for JJ. So no, Farmer Karma action with the center, but we'll be just fine as a more traditional Enchanter support regardless. Bans, though, in Phase 2 are going to be LeBlanc to start things off, so keeping the aggressive champions out of the hands of Triple.
Okay, so the Karma ban, I think, does indicate that it's not going to be a Karma mid, not only from the first experiment that Phoenix tried, but we know that Karma can lane against LeBlanc fairly easily with the itemization of the Unholy Grail early on, or sorry, the Chalice early on, so I think that this might be a heavy Azir contest. Both Triple and Phoenix really like this pick, and it's fairly powerful against both these drafts, whether it's against stopping Volibear or even getting set off of you. So Zoe ban, this is Azir 100% from Dignitas.
I was going to say, this looks like they're projecting Phoenix's Azir pick here for the 4th. So Olaf will see maybe one more jungler banned away from Dardoch, but he has a very wide pool. And junglers were really untouched, with apart from the kind of the cream of the crop. I mean, Graves doesn't get through very often for good reason. We'll see what FlyQuest Academy do want to do here for the final ban of the game. It will be the Kindred, for keeping one of the more carry-oriented picks out of Dardoch. But again, we'll have the option here. Can even go Volibear jungler. I don't think it's nearly as common as Volibear top. But if there was anyone that was going to branch out and play something a little different, it would be someone like Dardoch. However, they actually are not going to take Azir where we thought they would. Going to take the Trundle here instead and give Phoenix counterpick.
Interesting. So Dardoch taking a bow here and going with a Trundle. So not a lot of agency from him. Not what I'd expect out of a player that can have such a wide champion pool. And the Kindred ban I really like here, especially if you're going to be dealing with this heavy engage. And now FlyQuest can just take the Azir. Yeah, Triple is not going to hesitate on that, especially since you've already banned away 3 very powerful mid laners to deal with. This might just be Orianna for Phoenix. Right? You take a Orianna Volibear and just have the Volibear with the Karma Shield jump in, throw the ult out, and suddenly just catch everybody out.
Yep. And there's the Rek'Sai Fnatic. He has been on a tear lately. I think it's Lee Sin, Nocturne, now Rek'Sai. Like, he is all about the aggressive ganking junglers, which, to be fair, was absolutely his style before he entered Academy in spring this year, and at Scouting Grounds before that as well. So certainly expecting a lot of activity in these lanes. But it was the Azir Corki. Crumbs, I guess shouldn't have done as much research as we needed to do on the Phase 2 bans, because here we are again.
Yeah, I mean, it just... When you save those picks for last, you're always like, really? This is the value you got out of counter pick? Because that's what you want to have out of your counter picks, right? Your last pick is built on the fact that you're going to have an advantage early on, and then, or an advantage from the draft, and it's going to translate into an advantage in the game. But Corki versus Azir is not going to translate to anything. You know it's a stalemate, and it comes entirely into play. But if the team is comfortable with this reliance into the carries with MF and Corki, and then the front line of Trundle Volley with the Karma Shield, then this is what's going to get them to win, so be it.
I think Dig certainly are doing the right thing as far as like just picking something simple, something that they know they can play, and just kind of lean on their individual strength and as they're looking to build up team play. So I like that aspect of it, certainly. I do agree that like Phoenix is the kind of player where you would expect something maybe a little bit more exciting, but it does feel like mid laners these days, especially with Syndra like being so strong but being banned all the time, just like defaulting to farming it out. Because junglers are important, Crumbs. Haven't you heard? That's the whole thing now.
You know,
Gotta
that's
make
what was
sure your
happening in
jungler's
my
farming
games. I was getting
24/7.
auto-filled into mid, and I thought, wait a minute, I could just play Corki.
You could definitely play Corki.
And then, oh great, I'm a S tier mid laner now. Look at me, I
what happened?
survived.
Did
I'm
someone
useful
counter pick
later.
Talon? Oh, okay. I thought like something horrible happened. Like they
No,
counter-picked an
no, pretty
assassin.
hard to punish those champions. You have to really try to overextend and not use your range. You want to get into melee range and try to just show the parts of your Corki, of your Corgi ship, and be like, check it out. Like, you want to see the engine, and that's when you die.
I like Kassadin a lot into Corki. I think that's a counter pick we see every now and then.
Yeah.
It was banned last game too, so maybe people have been playing it. Definitely can't play into it either. So, not really a room for that given the way the pick
With so many of the games that have compositions that are trying to be really strong in the early game but fail to deliver, Kassadin is perfect for that because you just survive in the early game, which is fairly easy to do against these mage matchups when you have that Doran shield, you have your fleet, and then you're running the defensive tree to survive even longer with a teleport. You can't get him out of lane. He's going to guarantee a few kills, and then if you make a few missteps here and there, that teleport's going to get him a few kills. He's going to be well on his way, and when he hits that all-important level 16, you know that he becomes unstoppable.
All right, well, we'll unfortunately have to halt the mid lane conversation for now, which was I was looking forward to, but we'll bring it up another time. For now, it is our final game of the day, FlyQuest Academy versus Dignitas Academy. FlyQuest can be the only undefeated team left in the league, Crumbs, if they pick up their third straight victory here. Dignitas looking to get their first win, else they join the Cloud9 Academy Club, which is not the club I was expecting to open up in 10th place, but has been a bit rocky for Cloud9 to start things off. But to be fair, it was rocky for them last spring as well. As Mash, the Pengu Deb takes down the ward, has the first CS of the game, gets the first extra gold. Pack it up, Crumbs. Game's over.
With a thumbs up as well, so it looks like they know not just that they need to be using emotes, but that they use it in combination to make one more powerful than the other. And speaking of more powerful early on, Triple is going to be running Hail of Blades on the Azir. So
I love it, Crumbs.
He wants to be a little bit more aggressive, wants to break the traditional quota of Corki versus Azir, and with a Rek'Sai, there is an opportunity to gank the Corki, especially early on. If you can get that flash burnt out, once level 6 comes around, there's no defensive tools on this champion, so you can burst them. It just takes a lot of work, and a lot of it relies on Phoenix overextending, but that has been one of the trends that when he used to play mid lane would be exploited by his opposition.
Yeah, from what I've seen, it does seem like the Azirs want to be aggressive early in this matchup. So we did see Comet actually last game in mid lane as a result of that. Hold that thought though, as bottom lane hook landing nicely there from Big. As JJ will eat a little bit of poke, but once again, it is the classic Karma versus any melee support. Usually goes in favor of Karma, especially in the early stages of the lane.
Okay, so
some things never change, Crumbs.
Pardon?
Some things never change. Karma is good into melee supports. Was my whole spiel. That's it. That's the tweet.
It's a good tweet. It's a good tweet for somebody that wouldn't know. Be like, whoa, I've been struggling against melee supports all the time. I didn't know there was Karma. You know, there's over 150 champions in the game. It's very easy to forget what matchups are good into what, because all of a sudden someone's like, oh, wait a minute. Zyra is good into melees as well. I could just play Zyra, and suddenly Zyra ends up coming back into the meta, or whichever other champion, because if you remember correctly, Senna doesn't just enable Nautilus or the Karma that we saw. When Senna was playing this style, we even saw Rumbles in the bottom lane, and the LEC, we've seen the Wukong. Like, there is so much room for creativity with this matchup that hopefully we get to see teams break out of the classic mold of these picks and give us a little bit more of what Senna can bring. And man, Triple is really bringing the hurt to Phoenix, and it looks like he knew what he was going up against, because he went with the Doran shield early on instead of the refillable.
Yeah, I really like this Halo Blades here from Triple, but we actually do need to revisit bot lane quickly. In a moment, because Fnatic's taking mid lane. Hold up. We'll get there.
Oh boy. Look at where Trundle is. If this dive goes wrong, it could be the end for FlyQuest.
Now he sees Dardoch, so he's not going to do it. In fact, he might just, go on to Dardoch instead. Does have a lot of Fury built up already. Conqueror stacking up. And bad timing, unfortunately, for Dardoch there. Would have been almost was perfect counter gank timing with the wave just pushing in a little bit too slowly. However, we will go back to center because I agree with you. I love when players get creative. I can remember Zazel's Rumble from last split as being the big one there, as Phoenix is taking too much harass for me to finish my point, Crumbs.
Flash, oh yes, Flash Ignite big.
Surprise, it's big! Oh, they're just waiting. They're waiting for the wave to push in. I don't think Phoenix can get out of this at all. Yeah, Fnatic's just in there, and that's easy first blood. Very well played by FlyQuest.
Oh, we saw it coming from the rune selection, right? We knew they want to punish the mid lane. Rek'Sai can find the opportunity, and now Phoenix is putting himself deeper in the hole, but hoping to come out with a springboard as he's about the call to get out of this. So all of the work was done by Triple here in setting Phoenix very, very low. So despite Fnatic being able to get the kill at the very end, the credit should be entirely in Triple's side. So gets all the CS, and Phoenix knows there's no way out, right? He's trying. You can't flash out of this. You just take the loss and accept that you're going to have to try again.
Really nice discipline though from Big to hold on to his Ignite. I think if Phoenix had Flash, he would have used it instantly, but he knows that that kill is there for either his jungler or his mid laner, which is much better than him getting it. So a great first blood there for FlyQuest. But as we are back down to the bottom lane, we can talk about it, Crumbs. We were wrong. It is regular AD center. She has Doran's Blade. She is not giving up farm to Big.
Oh. Huh. Okay. Well, you're not getting as much soul selection that way.
That's true.
You're getting gold, but the value of a soul now, before it was tweaked, it was about, I think it was 3 point something gold per soul, 3.6 if I'm not mistaken. So it would be a little bit lower now. So this is the first time we're going to see this. Everybody else in the world is running Feet of Fasting Senna. So maybe MASH knows something that the rest of the world does not. And if he pulls it off here, then it'd be cool. But there is a reason why Fasting Senna is a thing, because you enable your other picks so much, right? You get that extra cooldown reduction on your Nautilus, and he's suddenly very powerful. Revenge does have Flash and Ultimate, so he could just take somebody for a ride
that
here.
stun lasted so long. Revenge, though, with the Duncan Flash out. TP in as well here from Triple. He's going to try and chase somebody down, but at this point, it's just making sure Revenge doesn't get re-engaged on. Triple, unfortunately, having to burn his TP for basically just a bit of protection there. Revenge does have his teleport, so he'll be able to go back to the lane if he wants to. And Fnatic is getting the dragon here, so Infernal Drake will be the first one given over.
So the setup was all because the wave
Revenge,
just wasn't in a good spot, and you would have hoped that Triple would have actually also helped Revenge crash the wave. Luckily, this distraction is going to buy enough time for the wave to crash into the turret, and now Revenge is going to be in a fine spot. But that was what was the setup, and Triple didn't help him out. Not like it was his job to do so, but despite that, Dignitas walks away with a kill in a return and actually donates it over to Phoenix. So his first death will be pretty much nulled now that he gets that kill.
Yeah, big miscommunication there in the top lane. Whatever they communicated, it didn't happen. The wave was not crashed. Revenge did not get out of the way of the potential roam or the jungle counter gank, and does unfortunately pay the price there in top lane. But we move on. Not the biggest of oopsies there, as both top laners for now hold on to their TPs. Mash and Big busy getting the wave crashing here in bot lane. Looks like they might be going back for a recall. But the early dragon is nice for FlyQuest regardless.
Oh, Asta has blue buff, so he must have stolen it from Fnatic as he was attempting to counter jungle, which is a pretty big win out of him. It's going to be a lot harder for FlyQuest to try to dive that lane if MF can continue to spam all the spells on that creep wave. So it's a good cross-map play out of Dig, not yielding anything in the bottom side besides the dragon, which they knew was going to happen, and we have seen what Volibear can do if he starts popping off. So this now looks like an 8:30 attempt on the Herald. They don't know that Asta is here quite yet, so FlyQuest might be walking into a trap.
Yeah, Dardoch Sweeper did not catch that ward, but I don't think it's going to matter too much. Revenge again, no flash, no ult, does have it actually, but what can he even do with it? Facebreakers gets the W down, but that's not nearly enough damage, and it is Dignitas that have the play there around the Rift Herald. So despite the vision being missed just barely by Dardoch, Sweeper timing out, they'll get the kill and they'll get the Herald out of the deal as Lolo TP's down to the bottom lane actually to make sure that gets crashed. Because it looks like, yeah, with the swap to top lane, Dardoch's going to try and get the Herald dropped quickly to take down a tower or at least get the plate money.
That was a really good blast cone there out of us. It's the power of Misfortune, being able to roam so much faster than anybody else. So she gets over there, and FlyQuest just did not expect that Misfortune was going to come in from that angle. That was the big punishment for them. The second they saw her there, it's like, uh-oh, we need to get out of there. Because they only spotted another pulse from the Tremor Sense, so it could have been anybody else. But when you see the carry there, that you'd have to walk past the Trundle, the Herald, and then position yourself to hit her when she has a bullet time, just makes it nearly impossible to walk in, as she already had that BF sword.
Yep. Can only sense the shoes, Crumbs. Cannot see them as Rek'Sai. So, wasn't able to spot the boots of Misfortune.
Who's blinder, Lee Sin or Rek'Sai?
I do not know. We'll have to. We'll have to check in with the lore team or something. For now, Fnatic is going to continue his farming. Has probably got enough for Warrior. Just needs to go back and purchase it, but he's going to make sure he clears the rest of his jungle before all that happens. Also, Lolo's Grand TP to the bot lane and the Herald play I described did not happen. Everyone just reset and went back to farming, but there is that Herald there for Dardoch for a couple minutes to try and get some plates. Actually, looks like for now we're just going to fully stay swapped while the teams want to make sure they don't miss too much farm.
That could be a very interesting dynamic in this next Dragon. So a minute on it, the resets will be fairly soon now. Anybody that resets a little bit later than now might not make it on time. So looks like the Dig bottom lane is going to be going for it right now, just basing and likely making a beeline to establish vision down there. There's nobody to take the spot of FlyQuest up, except Mash has teleport, so he can stay up here if he wants to buy a little bit more time. And Misfortune stayed as well, so the Dragon, if it happens to be a fight, will just be a matter of solo lanes and junglers.
Yeah, kind of forced to stay for now as Aster's continuing, but Big's also staying in the 2v1. Fnatic, though, going to try and spot a kill here. Dardoch going to be the target for Triple. Moves him back into the knockup with the Emperor's Revive at the center. Ulti contributes already. Triple to able to take down Dardoch as Fnatic will fall. But another kill here on the plate for Dignitas. Revenge is going to fall to Lolo. No junglers on either side, so Dragon not available right now.
The Trundle bought so much time, and the knockup was not actually very well timed between Triple and Fnatic. Notice that he was knocked up in the air of the Emperor's Divide, so instead of waiting for the duration to go the entire way and try to burst him before he could pop ult, they knocked him up pretty much halfway through, gave him enough time to use that ultimate, and then he was able to just get Rek'Sai to be so weak that she would just get popped by the Volibear and the Corki. And Corki also had package, so it was all in all a good look from Fnatic, but they didn't respect how quickly and how much time Dignitas could buy and turn on the Rek'Sai.
Yeah, looks like just business as usual here for Dig in the top lane, as Aster didn't even need to move. Fnatic, they're going to try and get something happening. 3v2 though in the top lane. Fnatic instantly flashes out of there. Nice play there from Dardoch.
Counter gank from Dardoch there, being right at the same place that the Rek'Sai was in and winning both of those fights. So far the jungle matchup has been going in his favor. Getting that Dragon, getting the Rift Herald, and now getting the flash out of the Rek'Sai. So the Herald will be popped into the mid lane, and there's nobody here to really contest it except Triple. So if they could get this to crash, it will almost get the turret. But look at how quickly FlyQuest is responding to this. They really don't want this to hit the turret. They're going to try to get it low, but it'll still pop off and get the damage out.
I don't know if anyone was near enough for the plate goal, though, because no one touched the tower. So
Dardoch should still get it for popping it.
That's true. A little perhaps given up there, but overall, Dig just going to continue making a play here in mid lane. They drop the Herald, they get the chunk, and they'll take this second Dragon here as well to equalize on that objective. Oh, well, Crumbs once again. Oh, we're too late.
Oh,
We forgot.
Ocean.
I was probably going to say Cloud again, so I was going to be wrong. But it is Ocean.
Would I say Cloud? Maybe. I don't know, because it feels too on the nose to say Cloud 3 times in a row and just be that confident about it.
Alright. Have to make sure we remember for next time. For now, Mash is just getting a push happening here in the top lane. Does have the Manamune charging up. So does Phoenix here in mid lane on the Corki.
Well,
One
Phoenix
CS
is about
away.
to finish Cole, so
Is this going to be it? Bam!
it's really
Nope,
strong
doesn't work
now.
that way. Oh! He Valkyrie in place there. You know, just puts on the afterburners, does a little donut.
I still think the best name for his package is the Valquilizer.
Valkyrie, ooh, I like that.
Kind of does the same function, looks the same.
Yeah, I'm here for it.
And you can also use it when he just uses the W mistakenly and dies. Like, oh, try to hit him with the Valquilizer. My bad, guys.
Yeah.
Because now it doesn't sound like you're making a misplay. It sounds like you were trying to go for a play, and suddenly, like, oh, I got outplayed. You know, I had a good damage spell. If you do the damage on the tick of W, it actually is a fairly high damage spell. It just puts you in such a terrible position.
All true, and FlyQuest wanting to contest for this second Rift Herald. Do have Lolo and Revenge locked in a 1v1 for now, but they do both have teleport here if they want to make their way up to the top side. Reset though for Phoenix, although he does also have TP. Gonna sell that Cull and cash in for 2 of the 3 parts of the Triforce. Still has some left though.
Okay. That is the completed Essence Reaver from Asta, which is a huge spike for Misfortune. She's so powerful when she hits that. It would be a tough fight for Dignitas to fight right now, but Asta does not have flash. If they know that that's an opportunity they can exploit, it could be profitable for them. And now that you have the Scuttle as well, there's no way Dignitas wants to take this. Despite the package, the Scuttle this early on really sets the tone for how you want to approach these fights, and you just don't want to give up that much movement speed to your opponent. However, Big is going in by himself. There's no one to follow up with him. He's going to be burned by himself.
Gonna get packaged and shot down. Triple is here. Into stasis he goes, but doesn't layer the shield correctly. Big is not going to fall, just barely though to JJ actually, who I think had a Karma Q in the air. So 5v4 now for a little bit longer. Dig gonna try and pressure into mid lane. That tower already got quite weak from that first Herald. They don't have the second one yet, but they should be able to take it without it as they do push in and claim the first tower of the game, Crumbs.
Yeah, that's just a single person making a big mistake. There's no way to justify that one. There's nobody to follow up. The Nautilus just cannot go for that kind of play. You know, I might have thought about it a little bit more if it was fasting Senna and the Nautilus was AP and been a little bit stronger, but even then, there's just no way to catch that Corgi. He had a package on top of that, so it's a good punish from Dignitas, and they get a very important turret in this game because mid lane turret with Corki and Azir is worth so much more.
Yeah, it's often so tough to break that turret in front of a wave clearing control mage, but they did get it. They are going to lose the Rift Herald possibly off the back of this play. It certainly looks like they will. FlyQuest first to the area and able to take it down before a response can come off of Dig's map reset. Fnatic gonna walk the Herald nowhere right now. He's actually gonna take the recall instead. But not too much left on the top outer tower here, Crumbs. So it looks like FlyQuest will at least be able to equalize in objectives and try and close the gold lead that's sitting at almost 2,500 gold for Dig.
Yeah, closing this gold lead and map lead is not going to put them in a very good position for this next dragon. You see, Lorlo doesn't have mana and gets a turret as well, but he has teleport, so he can join the fight. Mash will have to walk down and is not going to be able to assist when it comes to vision. We have the observers showing us all the vision that Dignitas has already laid out in the red side of the jungle. If FlyQuest can approach from the mid lane, they can avoid that, but they'll have to fight for mid control and not get engaged on. Corki is in the top side, so they have a numbers advantage, and the Rift Herald should give them the control they need to be able to funnel into the jungle. But Big is going in by himself again.
Just space checking, gets the ulti down onto the support. Fnatic dives in, but Stasis Goes JJ. Good junk there from Revenge, but he doesn't really have any follow-up there as his team can't reach the target he had locked down. So another pick off there for Dig, off Big getting a little too aggressive there. 2 for 0 in favor of Dignitas. The tower does fall in mid, but Dignitas are going to get their second Drake of the game, the third overall, and the first of the Soul Drakes.
FlyQuest did not respect the pace of the game where it is one person or one team makes a move and then you make a counter move, right? The move was Dignitas got the kill on Big in the mid lane turret, you get the Herald. And then Dignitas gets to set up the vision in the Dragon for the next fight, so you have to respect that they are going to be there first. They didn't do that. They pay for it and lose even more than they should have for it. So Dignitas is feeling fairly confident about this one as they are just scaling very happily. Gold leads built, and you still haven't seen what the bottom lane can do from Mash and Dig.
Fast fingers there from Phoenix. Gets out with the Valkyrie. Not actually that easy with Azir charging into you with the ult, having a fairly large scoop range in the back of it. But does hold on to his flash. I do like that Triple tried it there. He is actually farming quite nicely. Phoenix also had perfect timing with that TP being up around the Dragon. He already had his Trinity Force completed at 18 minutes before they started the fight that won them that Dragon. So both these mid laners farming up very swiftly. Triple ahead in CS by a little bit, but Phoenix with that Cull caching clearly feeling good on gold.
You can't make that outplay on the Azir shuffle on 60 ping. That's a 10 under ping kind of play, which is more exciting to see because when you have such low latency is when you can really mess with frames of the game and start to just create plays that were otherwise not possible or even conceived by other players, except for being able to predict, right? Otherwise, you'd have to just be able to anticipate exactly what the enemy is going for, which tends to be a lot harder than just having those reflexes.
Alright, well, top side now. Dignitas thinking about maybe ganking Triple here. Asta going to go ahead and catch the mid wave, as Phoenix has more than enough room to take down the top outer tower and actually give 3 towers to 2 now for Dig, who've taken the outer ring off the map. FlyQuest, they did get the mid tower, which was nice. That was a few plays ago after that Rift Child that they got. So plenty of room to maneuver for both these teams. Gold leads certainly though heavily in favor of Dignitas at this point. Up 4,000 gold. Still somewhat early on into the game with carries finishing items at breakneck speeds.
If I'm Dignitas, I want to keep looking for all these members that are without flashes. Revenge is a good one. He's going to punt the Volibear into the turret, but he's going to disable it. It doesn't matter.
Volibear, what a great champion. See you later. Well, we're just showing off the 1v1 potential under the tower there with a bit of assist from Dardoch. Nice to see those old friends pairing up together. FlyQuest did try the Baron, but quickly stopped trying the Baron as Dignitas are barreling down mid.
Yeah, that's an odd attempt there because Misfortune can always just sit back and ult away at the Baron or even whittle you down, and there's no one that can tank this. Big does not have a stone plate. He's not very suited for taking repeated Baron damage, and Rek'Sai is far from the pick to do so either. So that attempt was more of a can we get away with this, and as long as Dignitas is just somewhat aware of what's going on, they can take him down. Big by himself again. Oh boy.
Oh, Phoenix is just
very close to thinking about packaging in there.
But packages out instead with Senna roaming in alongside the Rek'Sai. So Phoenix just goes ahead and shoots down a few more minions. Next dragon is up in a minute 20. It would be the Soul Point dragon for Dignitas.
They are in a great spot to do this. As long as the top laners are involved in this fight, Dig should likely win it. Revenge is just having a really tough time in the lane, and his itemization is really far away from being able to be useful in the team fight. I mean, he has a Blade and a Phage compared to the Trinity and almost the Death Dance from Volibear. He might actually complete it before this fight happens, have the teleport up, and be able to join it. Maybe would have liked to have that Scuttle Crab to add to that pool, but the itemization for the rest of the carries is there, so his doesn't matter that much. It's the score and the discrepancy he has against Revenge that will do all the work. Let's see if Big falls for it again, because They might be looking out for him one more time. Don't hook into that Trundle. Good thing he doesn't.
Yeah, really nice W there from Mash, just to make sure nothing happened. Dardoch has a very easy time setting up Lolo with the pillar, and Volibear will catch you eventually, is kind of the theme of that champion. The Dignitas certainly ready to fight. There it's going. Oh, I believe it. Still going. All right, he stops. I mean, yeah, I believe that for sure.
Yeah,
what about a lightning
the horse
empowered
gets tired. The bear can just run longer. It's kind of like the rabbit versus the turtle kind of thing.
You know what? Thematically, that kind of fits with Volibear, right? You know, whenever you cancel his Q, he gets it back. He just keeps chasing you down if you try and wear him out. Asta also going to solo this dragon, so Dignitas just fully in control of this objective. Continuing to snowball both their gold and their objective count now.
I like that move where you have just a single member solo it. You don't need to commit even more. Looks like Dignitas is thinking that FlyQuest might attempt that Baron again. They're just securing vision out, but this engage is not going to work unless you have Big in the front line. Rek'Sai needs to find a flanking angle. She can't attack from the same direction, otherwise they're just going to run away from you. Karma is one of the most obnoxious champs to deal with when you are Rek'Sai. You really need to surprise the enemy, otherwise they will never allow you to hit that knockup. And if you even get close, well, you have to get past the slow, and if you can even get past that, she's got that tether on you to keep you at arm's length.
Yeah, I mean, between the Karma and the Trundle, it's like really frustrating to play against Dignitas' lineup, I feel like. You know, they've got two great carries. MF can cover just about any zone offensively and defensively, and this Volibear is just an absolute terror right now. Lolo 3-0 and 3, 2 items with the Death Dance finish, and a Bramble Vest on top of that. I mean, I don't think Dig will do too much apart from punish mistakes and wait for this next dragon, because realistically, what else do they need to do right now?
Not much. They're very happy to scale up. You've got the Corki, the Volibear is crushing it, you're getting that gold, and eventually you're going to find that fight that you need, because the front line from FlyQuest just cannot stay alive against this. And the odd thing about this game is that because this is Senna that needs to farm and last it, she's often just dealing with minion waves all by herself. It's her main weakness, being able to wave clear, so there's nobody else to clear her waves for her. And so whether it was her fighting in the top lane the entire game or even now clearing, it's giving Dignitas a lot of ability to just clear out waves first and fight. Here comes an engage, but onto the Trundle, who pops ulti on the Nautilus.
Yeah, he's pretty tanky. Revenge dunks in there, tries to get to the backline, not bad onto JJ, but the return damage is there and they have enough to finish up the kill. Again, Dig just going in. Oh, Flash Stormbringer! Lolo's in there! Does get shut down by the Rek'Sai though, but the ult from Master is massive, and that will clean up everybody else except for the jungle and the mid laner. So a huge team fight win there for Dignitas. Onto the Baron they go. I don't think Triple and Fnatic can stop them. What a team fight win there for Dig.
Absolutely, and it couldn't have been more perfect for them. You have tank engaging onto your main tank, your Trundle. He's so happy to take the brunt of the initiation.
Good play.
Phoenix just obliterates Rek'Sai. To think that this game started with Triple and Fnatic bullying away Phoenix and how it has turned out is just a complete testament to Dignitas' ability to keep their mental strong. They did not falter. They knew what they needed to do. Even flashing the moat, the really tasty, savory Zed.
Yep, to be clear, JJ had a good play there. Hunting for the Rek'Sai, locking him down. Phoenix had the easy job of collecting the kill. But I agree. I think like Lolo has just crept up to be an absolutely massive threat in this game. And I'm just going to give credit to Dardoch, right? We talk a lot about Trundle versus other aggressive junglers. Now, this is a, more ganking-oriented jungler than a farming-oriented jungler necessarily, but the paradigm remains somewhat similar. And Dardoch tracked Fnatic so well throughout this game. Even the mid lane gank with Big's roam that got Phoenix killed for First Blood was still almost perfectly read by Dardoch. He was like a couple of seconds away from that play going his way instead of the other way. Is Big going to be the target, and Phoenix is just way too strong. JJ going to get the end of the kill, but we know that it's Dardoch and Phoenix that's starting to really rock this game.
They interrupted the hook with the pillar. That really, you love to see it there out of Trundle. And the other interesting thing that you're pointing out is that I'm looking at how Dardoch and Lorla bullied away at Revenge, and Revenge did not really build in accordance to that, right? He went with a complete split pushing build when the idea that FlyQuest continues to go for in the game is to team fight. He's getting completely outshined, and it's no surprise that his build does not buy him any time in the team fight. He gets popped immediately. We might see some fights where he dies even in his ultimate before he can pop the Haymaker off. He is so squishy and so far behind that now FlyQuest just needs to hold on and farm, but Dignitas
this is
is
such a
bullying
good play.
them entirely.
Dardoch just stayed, they push back out, Phoenix TP's in with the package, and there's one kill. Make it two there as Matt will fall. JJ getting yet another kill, just picking up wherever he can get them. 2 left now, and I don't think FlyQuest have the tools to defend their base. Dignitas just going off in this game. 10,000 gold ahead, smashing down people. Phoenix is dominating. Everything's going wrong. And Triple running back to his base, but that is not safe. The Nexus will fall as Dignitas Academy will ensure there are no undefeated teams left in Academy, Crumbs.
I am so happy we get to see Dignitas actually come out with what they've got. We know this roster was much better than an 0-2, and they shored up those weaknesses in this week and just crushed the team that was close to being in that 3-0 spot. We have a really tight race in Academy this split pastry, and honestly, I'm not really sure who's going to rise to the top considering that our finalists are having a hard time in this current meta.
It's wild that we've only had a week and a half of play. We have 5 games tomorrow, remember. You can tune in for Academy Rush if you want to catch them, but already the standings are in absolute turmoil. And I think for me, the big takeaway for today is like Volibear. Like, we've seen so much set Aatrox in every single game, but Volibear's certainly the real deal, Crumbs. And we may be getting a preview of the rest of the weekend, as I think the bear will be showing up a couple times as well.
Oh yeah, the bear, the Senna as well, I think is another interesting takeaway. But I think the tower diving potential of Volibear, a winning top lane suddenly punishes bottom way harder than any other pick, because at least before, bottom laners could think, oh, okay, well, they're not going to dive us. We have our turret here to keep us safe. Volibear doesn't care. He's going to get in there. You're going to get roamed on. You're going to get TP'd on, and there's nothing you can do about it. Imagine something like Bard Volibear.
Ooh.
There's no turrets.
I like that a lot.
The whole map is open.
Well, certainly, we'll see how that all shakes out. Now I'm excited for that, Crumbs. I'm going to be upset when I don't see it. We'll have a break, though. We're stepping away, but on the other side, I'll have a chat with Lolo, and then Crumbs and I will wrap up today and look towards our Friday League of Legends action. Welcome back to the Verizon post-game interview, where I'm joined by the victorious Lolo. Lolo, thank you so much for joining me.
Hey. Nice to speak with you. How you been?
So, I've been great, and you've been great too, by all accounts on that game. 0-2 for Dig coming into the week. A very convincing game win there. I guess my first question is, were you surprised to see Set first pick? Because that Volibear looked like unholy at points in that game.
Yeah, I was a bit surprised. I think there wasn't that much Volibear in scrims from like a lot of teams. I feel like Volibear is really new in terms of just, like what we've seen of it. So like even me today, like I was doing a bunch of 1v1s with a bunch of other top laners and like putting like 4 to 5 hours before I match today just to figure out matchups. But I feel like the champ is really, really strong and we'll probably be seeing a lot in LCS and in other regions as well.
Yeah, it just feels like, we were talking about Set Aatrox for so long, and now Volibear it's just straight in that conversation. Is there anything in particular you can highlight from your research that you feel like makes him so strong, or do we just push the numbers enough to be like, yep, this guy's good?
Yeah, he's really one-dimensional in a sense, so if his numbers are high, he's just going to be a strong champion. It's like very similar to Set Release when he first came out, because when Set was released, his numbers were crazy, his passive was overtuned, like his W damage was overtuned, and the champion was just a monster. Like he's still strong now, but I feel like Set's a more supportive style. He's not as strong as he was in top in previous patches, but yeah, Volley is really strong. He gets a lot of prio in a lot of lanes. He's a really good team fighter. He has really good snowballing potential, and he just brings so much in this current meta.
Yeah, it certainly seems like a very well-rehearsed team composition from the whole time there. Stepping back a bit though, just kind of talking about the team in general, how is like the time being with Dig, changing a bunch of players this academy split?
Yeah, it's been like a different experience for me because I was so used to playing with my old roster last split, and I think we had a lot of good systems, and also our coaching staff kind of got swapped up as well. So I've been doing my best to adjust to just like the new players, playing with familiar faces as well, and just building synergies again that I had in the past. And I think we're on the right track. I feel like our first week performance wasn't as good as I wanted to be, but I think after this week of scrims, we definitely have shown really good improvements, and I think it'll keep getting better and better.
Yeah, has it been fun to play with Josh, of course? Like, you've been friends with Duduk for a very long time. Was that one of the easier relationships to kind of slot back in despite all the changes?
Yeah, we're still really close. We've been close for like since we played on TL together, so it was just really simple to get back to playing with him, and especially with Phoenix going back to mid, it feels like a little bit of a TL reunion to 2016. So just like showing up the synergies there and just getting back in the groove of things. But I feel like we're on the right track, especially with communication and such. So I'm really happy with the progress we've made.
Certainly seems like it. Lola, congratulations on your win today, and thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, thanks so much for the interview. Appreciate it.
All right, no problem. Thank you for joining us, Lola. We're stepping away, but we'll be back to wrap up the day after this quick break. Welcome back, everybody. We're here to wrap up the day for another bit of Academy action. Crumbs, it's time for actually what is becoming my personal fast favorite segment. We're going to run through the top performers of the day with our newest segment. It's the Samsung SSD Fast 5. So how this works, we are tracking 5 different stats, all split long, between Academy and LCS to find our 5 fastest players in both of the leagues. So it's one for each stat. Top to support Crumbs as a different stat. To remind you, in top lane, it's 100 CS time, so the fastest to get there. In jungle, it's the first to level 6, so that time. Mid level 11. Bot 10k gold time. And for support, it's the item transform time. So let's have a look at what's going on there. Leaderboard looking good right now for the Academy squads, Crumbs.
Ooh, so already what sticks out to me is that we have 3 TSM members making the top Fast 5, which is pretty impressive.
Look as well. It's pretty fast level 6s there as well. Greg with the 6 minute and 23 second level 6. Not bad. 100 CS race, so I think it's going to be fun. Actually, Dokla sitting there right now. 10 minutes and 36 seconds. Definitely excited for someone to crack the 10 minute barrier though.
Well, the big 10k gold, 24 seconds up on Rikara, so that's a pretty big one. I'm looking a lot at the discrepancies that these guys are able to accumulate, and I mean, 8 seconds off of Grig. So Fnatic did his with Nocturne. I wonder what Grig's was on. It might have been today or on the Kindred game. We'll have to use that incredible memory that comes from our computer to look at that.
All right, we'll investigate a deeper look at how all 10 junglers performed against each other today. And oh boy.
I didn't even realize we were tracking the
wait, what?
tenths of a second.
That is wild.
Okay.
9/10 of a second between Dardoch and Xfinity today.
Pretty impressive stuff that we have that capability, actually. Did not know that, but that's going to put Dardoch in the top 6 and Xfinity out of it.
That's true. It kicks him out. Right. Kicks him out of spring playoffs.
Kicks him out of playoffs. Kicks him out of the Fast 5 playoffs.
Not in summer. Actually, maybe for Academy. Anyway, it's fine. Cool though. It's really fun. Again, very excited to see like different records being broken down. There's definitely a lot of things we'll get as we go through a ton of data between both leagues across the whole split. Today's matches, though, certainly shook up the standings, Crumbs. I think that's the theme of the day. We'll have a look at how they are looking, but like I said, no more undefeated teams left. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams, count them, Crumbs, tied for first with a 2-1 record. Then 3 there, Dig, Evil Geniuses, and Team Liquid tied at 1 and 2. With the biggest surprise of the split so far, Cloud9 Academy batting 0 and 3, alone in 10th, Crumbs.
They 3-0'd the finals, right?
Yeah.
Just a few months ago, they were crushing it. Oh, whether it's the absence of King or something else, Cloud9 is going to have to pick things up quickly, because if the race at the top is this tight, well, you're not going to have a very large margin to be able to climb back up there. It's always going to come down to the attention focused on the later matches, because that's when you have less time to climb back into playoffs. But it's the early games that are usually the ones that you want to win the most, because that's when there is less pressure. Less teams are thinking about what games they really need to win in order to make it into those sweet playoff spots.
Well, certainly they had a slow start in spring, but we'll see how Cloud9 are doing. In fact, we can see how they do tomorrow as the Academy split will continue with Academy Rush, where Dash will guide you through 5 games of action simultaneously. We've got Golden Guardians facing Cloud9, EG are going to be taking on TL, and then 3 more games to round out the Academy for the week.
Ooh, so Golden Guardians versus C9. That's the one. I mean, we're going to be on Cloud9 watch the entire time until they get a win, and we figure out where is this team at in comparison to the rest of the league, because everybody else seems to be pretty close to each other. Yeah,
it's like the reverse of how they ended the split last time, where it's like, oh, are they going to lose yet? No. They didn't lose really at all towards the end, but certainly a struggle to start things off. Friday Night League also returns tomorrow, though, with special guest Golden Glue joining the broadcast. He'll be weighing in on CLG vs Dignitas, and then Immortals taking on TSM in our 2 LCS games that air tomorrow night.
Ooh, we got a lot of questions for Golden Glue, that is for sure. One of the few remaining NA mid laners. He'll give us a scoop of what is going on in North America and what's happening with him.
Yeah, always great to hear from Grayson, so certainly a lot to look forward to tomorrow there for Friday Night League. But Crumbs, halfway through the Academy week, it's been a fun one so far. That's going to do it from us here. On behalf of myself, the casters, and the entire remote broadcast crew, thank you for watching. We'll see you tomorrow for Academy Rush and Friday Night League. Good night.
Good night.